All right, we live. We live in at five. What's up, man?
Right. So, so what's up? I'm Vaughn from 360 Magazine, the president of a pop culture and design publication for youthful individuals. And we're here to speak about the Kamala Harris cover of Vogue magazine. In November of 2020, she did a Elle magazine cover where she had on heels and she was sitting down and appeared that she was sitting in the Capitol. And then fast forward to her actually winning the election with Joe Biden. And we saw her congratulate Joe Biden on a call that was taped. And she was like, "We did it, Joe. Congratulations."
Hmm.
And it was so cool, a historical moment for a female, a woman, and then first and foremost, a woman of color that went to Howard University. She became the first of many things, district attorney, senator, an amazing human being. So to see a cover with Kamala, Miss Harris, Vice President elect, with Converse on that, that didn't appear to be new, a blazer that was disheveled, what appeared to be some leggings, and a t-shirt, it just was very Ellen DeGeneres to me. To another, I
Hmm.
just felt like, why would they have her looking like she was waiting for a bus? You know what I'm saying? It was like she was waiting for a bus, and it just didn't resonate with me at all. Because
Right.
remember Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Chapter, Cornell University. I was very disheartened.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, a contributor and a reporter from Huffington Post said that he had an inside tip that Anna Wintour approved the cover, and this is somebody who works with all these amazing people from Kanye West to Virgil, who's constantly pushing out the next. I didn't feel like nothing about that was the next to me. What
Yeah,
What do you think?
completely agree. Definitely agree. Reggie Dominique here with perfectpublicity.net, all things media and travel. I'll say this. It was definitely when I first saw the photo, I honestly thought that it was just a regular picture that was taken and people had put Vogue letters on the photo. I didn't know that it was like an actual Vogue like spread cover shoot. And it just goes to show how I guess the lack of professionalism was there because normally when you see something of Vogue, you know that it's Vogue, it's fashionable, it's chic. I mean, it's chic, it's very fashion forward. You know it's going to be nice if it's on the cover of Vogue. So the fact that you know so much has been kind of said about the photos that was chosen, how she looked, how they depicted her, how the magazine went another route, whereas her team thought that they were going to go with the other photo that we saw, which in my opinion, both photos aren't that great. But the second photo that was supposed to be on the cover was definitely the better photo. And I get what Vogue is saying, this they felt that the photo that they went with was something that embodied her character, her being, relaxed, laid back with the Chuck Taylors on, this is that and the other, the Converse. But I'm just like, this is still the first African American vice president elect. And like you said, who has busted so many glass ceilings and broke so many barriers. And the fact that they're going to present her like that is just a slap in the face to all the accolades that she's achieved in her life. But also, I got to kind of sort of think about it from her perspective and her team's perspective. Maybe they didn't think that it was that big of a deal because I mean, if they wanted her to be dressed up a little bit more, I'd imagine that they would have, kind of gotten her dressed up a little bit more. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just, us from the outside looking in, who are kind of like making a big deal about it, but it's just it could have been done a completely different way, definitely way more tasteful. The photographer is a young black boy. His name is Tyler. Tyler Mitchell. And he's a young black boy who did the photos. And I want to say he was actually discovered like off of Instagram, just from like doing some amazing shoots. And his Instagram page just picked up. And now he's doing Vogue covers. So for him, it's a major, major, major moment in his career.
Milestone,
Yes,
yeah.
major milestone for him. So it sucks that it's not being accepted and appreciated as it should be. But I definitely think that it has nothing to do with him. It's more so to do with people like Anna Wintour and people who are up at the top who could have made the decision and say, hey, why don't we go back and reshoot this? Like you said, that L photo, that L cover was nice. It was done very nicely. Um, it was really nice. And that was back in November. So you would think that, you know, here we are less than what, 10, 12 days away from having her and Joe sworn in, you know, as the new leaders of our nation. You would think that they would have chosen a little bit more of a better, more classier, professional route. Those drapes behind her, I don't know what they thought that was going to convey, but all I got was that someone just threw up some curtains behind her and just took a picture. That's
Right, yeah. And it was like the colors depicted Alpha Kappa Alpha. And to me,
right.
like I said before, like when I was a little kid, I grew up surrounded by alphas and AKAs.
Mhm.
And, you know, my sister's an AKA, my aunt's an AKA, my grandmother's an AKA. It was just like, what is this about? Because when I grew up around alpha and AKA and grew up around historical black colleges, it was lackluster in comparison to their mantra in in terms of what they stand for. And for that to be a print cover, um,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense to me. I
Yeah.
feel like the other photo in the powder blue suit was fine. It felt like it wasn't even. It felt like it was in style. Unfortunately, it
Yeah.
felt like she came out of the secret. It felt like she came out her barricade, and they said, "Step in front of this curtain. Let's take a picture of you right now with your chucks on and your personal gear on." And I understood that, but to me, that's something that you would use as an insert into the magazine. I
Mhm.
feel like they could have took another direction with her. And I understand you don't want to glamorize her. You don't want to make her appear to be too regal, but I'd rather see her in Ivy Park. Like I
Yeah.
really, I
Right.
mean, I rather see her in Ivy Park. It would have been more tailored than what I saw. Um, and again, it is what it is. You know, it's just this cover didn't do it for me. It didn't.
Yeah.
When I went to the website, I noticed. I thought Kamala did her own makeup. I feel like she did her own hair. I just feel like it would have been great if Vogue could have ramped her up a little, vamped her up a little bit more.
Mhm.
Um, a pencil skirt,
So,
like
so,
something more
so,
regal.
so that's what I wanted to mention. And this is something I really hope that she doesn't feel that it's necessary for her to always come out in pantsuits. Because, you know, at the end of the day and at the beginning of tomorrow, she is still a woman. However, she is in, you know, a profession, it's politics. She's a politician that's dominated by males.
A man,
I
a
feel
white man.
right, right. And I mean, if you think about other female politicians, Stacey Abrams, if you know consider Elizabeth Warren, if you consider Hillary Clinton, one of my favorites, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and so on and so on and so on. You never really see those women in dresses or gowns or pencil skirts or anything. So I, for one, hope that we see Kamala. I want her to be comfortable with like kind of as she's already done with breaking so many barriers. Don't feel like you always have to come out in this pantsuit because you're still a woman and you still have a figure, you know, and you're a beautiful woman. So I hope that for the inauguration we see her in something other than a pantsuit. I do want to read a quick quote really quick from Vogue. Vogue issued a statement saying saying that they chose the image of Harris for the cover because the photo captured, quote, her authentic, approachable nature, which we feel is one of the hallmarks of the Biden and Harris administration. That's what they said. So pretty much because it's authentic and she's very approachable, we wanted to use that photo as the cover. And even if that is the case, which I feel like is a little whitewashed and watered down, but even if that is the case, the least y'all could have done was reached out to her team and told her team, hey, we're gonna go with this photo instead. you know, versus just go ahead on and, you know, releasing images and this is that and the other. Not to mention they're saying that the images were leaked on Saturday. I really don't know how much of truth that is, but you know, it's just like it just is what it is. And let me see.
I just don't feel the Democratic Party would have approved that shot for her. I feel like the other picture was more of what she represents and how she should be presented to the world. Vogue is a global conglomerate that's a part of a huge umbrella corporation called Condé Nast, and now Anna Wintour is she's like the global content editor, whatever. So she's helming Wired magazine, Pitchfork. She has her hands in so many things like Vanity Fair. It's like I didn't feel any of that energy on this cover. And as an African American man growing up, um, and having seen and been exposed, like I said before, to the the fraternal bonds, it's the world bonds of men and women in those fraternities and sororities. It didn't reflect that at all,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
you
It
know,
didn't reflect her level of education. It didn't reflect her level of empowerment. I just didn't understand like out of all the things they could have chose, like why would they
you know,
choose that? And
my
I
ears are always to the streets. I'm always trying to get that little word on the curb. So I know for a fact that people in the past, people of big names in the past, have had problems with Anna Wintour and the way that she conducts herself in Vogue. Some of those people being Isaac Mizrahi, even one of her former staff members that everybody knows.
Andre,
Andre, exactly. Andre. You know, there's also who was that one guy? I think Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn said that he has problems with her, and these are all people that have came out publicly and spoke about the fact that she's not. She can be a little cruel and she's very biased. I'm hoping going forward because I'm more than sure we're going to see her on a lot of more covers going forward. So I'm hoping going forward, she, her team, whatever publication that she graces the cover of next, and furthermore, we'll be able to collectively come together and figure out some type of way to um,
probably
really
represent.
represent exactly, really represent her, and also like I love the fact that you know, I mean, first black female, you know, vice president, and all of that good stuff, all the accolades that she has. Um, and that she's putting HBCUs on the map, which HBCUs are already on the map. Proud graduate of an HBCU, but putting HBCUs on the map. My brother and my sister-in-law, they went to Howard. I have a slew of cousins that all went to Howard. So they love the fact that you know she's putting Howard up there on the map, but also, of course, representing for you know the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. But the fact that they tried to use just that with the background and all of that kind of stuff, I'm just like, it's so cliche. It's just
So
like,
cliche. And it just
yeah,
shows that you didn't do any type of research on that organization.
not
And no one really understands why. First and foremost, people don't understand. Like when I went to Cornell, people was like, "Why didn't you join X, Y, and Z fraternity? Why didn't you join this?" It's because I grew up around alphas, like my uncle who worked at NASA, director of United States embassies, and just being around an engineer, somebody who stays on Northwest Side and the Gold Coast in DC, who's an alpha and was a you know just a prominent member of Mu Lambda chapter, and being around that energy and seeing how they hold themselves in a certain light and how they represent the community and they try to uplift it. There's nothing about that photo that made me feel like that it didn't uplift. It wasn't. There's no upliftment in that photo whatsoever. It felt like it was contrived. It felt like it was. I mean, quite frankly, like I said before, she looked like she was catching a bus. It was very Ellen DeGeneres, and it was like if you're gonna put chucks on her, like make sure they look pristine, or at least put some sequins on her. Do something where she can feel, like she's standing in her power. Like I feel like right now this is the time to acknowledge all the power. Like Ava DuVernay, she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Jada Pinkett, Alicia Keys.
mhm.
Those women embody, they just have this power about them, and I felt like that photo was just it just really ripped not only Kamala of her energy, but also the energy and the soul of that organization and what it stands for, which is upliftment and community involvement.
That would have never
And
happened with Michelle. Michelle would have been like, y'all don't take these pictures down.
right, she was like, "Can you take that on?
Right,
Can you like restyle my hair? Can you
right.
something?" It felt very flat. We'll hope and pray that the powers that be they would either retract that cover or they'll grace her with another one and another opportunity to redeem themselves because I feel like it was very flat. It just felt like something a boutique book would do or a magazine
Yeah,
or some like it felt like it was one of those shots you would take on your cell phone.
right.
And I understood what they're going for, and I get it. It is what it is. I mean, right now the country seems somewhat divided, but hopefully Biden and Kamala can bring them back together because in the new cabinet that they elected, all these different officials, particularly women of color,
Hmm.
in Congress, Richie Torres is from Bronx. We interviewed him recently, and he's one of the first openly gay Congress people that grew up in the Bronx. And it's just, his story is amazing. And it's like to have such a powerful moment not be celebrated properly really was slightly offensive. Art communicates, art influences, art provokes. And that to me I don't know what that was. I just don't know what that was. I just felt like that was just, I don't know. It was, I really, like I said before, I'd rather have seen her depicted in a different light altogether, not to be dumbed down. Like, this is not a time to dumb down the vice president of the United States of America. This is a time to uplift
Right.
women, especially
Agreed.
women of color, who have been putting our communities on their backs. I didn't see anything that let me know that this was a special moment for women.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now, this is the year of the woman, the feline.
Agreed. Agreed. Hopefully, if anybody from the Madam Vice President Kamala Harris team, or if she's listening to this, or if anyone from the esteemed prestige publication known as Vogue magazine is listening to this, we hope that you all know that y'all missed the mark. Sorry, but you did. And I hope that going forward, the people over at Vogue will take note of this and know that they dropped the ball, and that they would definitely give our vice president another opportunity for a glamorous, over the top shoot, as they've given many, many, many other people who are way beneath her those type of opportunities to grace their covers. So I think that we've gotten our point across here, and I hope that our voices are heard. But listen, the internet has been speaking for the last 2 days, so I know for a fact,
Yeah.
for a fact they've seen some responses. But yeah, this was fun, Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for inviting me to talk about this topic with you, and I hope that people can kind of take away from what we've said here.
Yeah, me too as well. And thanks for joining in the conversation. I appreciate everything you do.
Mhm.
And it's always a pleasure.
Indeed, indeed. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead on and sign off. Again, this is Reggie Dominique with perfectpublicity.net, all things media, and we have
Vaughn Lowery from 360 Magazine.
awesome. All right, we're signing out.